Hey everyone, and welcome to Boss Advisory. Today we're going to talk about how to win at life's game. Imagine playing a board game similar to chess, but with thousands and thousands of boards stacked one on top of the other, and where each move you make takes a day's worth of effort. The thousands of moves in this game represent the thousands of decisions you can make every day. Welcome to the game of life. Regardless of whether you are aware of it, you are playing this game every single day. Either you are making the right decisions that will move you closer to a happy and fulfilling life, or you are making the wrong decisions that will move you further away from all of this good stuff and closer to all the pain and suffering that the world has to offer. Now, I have some news for you, both good and negative. The fact that life is a long game is a positive thing. The average player receives about 28,000 moves. Before the game is over, there are around 79 years worth of moves. The fact that you don't have to play flawlessly is even better news. There are many mistakes you can make, and you'll continue to succeed in the game of life as long as you make more wise decisions than foolish ones. Still, you'll be able to find happiness. Additionally, there are other wise decisions you can take each day. In other words, you don't have to know exactly what to do. Simply choose one of the various moral actions to take. Also, if you can string together a number of successful movements, the rewards will start to add up, and you will achieve remarkable success. Let's now discuss the unpleasant news. The bad news is that your life will change for the worse if you make a lot of terrible decisions and don't learn from them. If you keep choosing the incorrect course of action, you will find yourself sliding deeper and deeper into a never ending hole, and it will begin to feel like hell on earth. I want to wrap up this quick exercise in contemplation by sharing the best development with you. The excellent news is that everyone can succeed in life's game. No matter how far behind you might feel, how many poor decisions you've lately made, or how your life may be right now, you still have a very strong chance of achieving pleasure and contentment. The last remaining query is, how do you know which moves to make? There are three ways to accomplish this. The first one is through luck. Sometimes we make arbitrary decisions because we are unsure of what to do, and it turns out that we made the proper decision by pure accident. The second way is through mentors. A good mentor is essentially someone who has been playing the game of life more successfully than you have. They can help you distinguish between the proper and wrong move by peering over your shoulder at your board. Good mentors are scarce though, and if you have access to one, make sure you work to develop that connection. The third and last way is the most important. It is through wisdom. You can distinguish between right and wrong on your own when you are wise. This is the most important of the three because at the end of the day, you have to be able to rely on yourself because your mentors, instructors, and parents can't always hold your hand. And the wonderful thing about knowledge is that anyone may develop it by learning three straightforward topics. The first topic is behavior of humans. You must research human thought and behavior. What behavior is most likely to occur in various circumstances? Why do people act in such way? What are some patterns that recur frequently in particular cultures? Who wants what in life? The fact that we live in a world ruled by humans means that you must understand human nature. On this world, humans are the only species that are both capable of great achievements and the only ones that are able to do massive harm. Additionally, future predictions are much more accurate if you understand how people think and behave. For instance, I am aware that humans as a species tend to put things off. We prefer to wait until a situation is irreparably damaged before taking action. Just consider our response to the pandemic. Before it was too late, we didn't actually take action. And back in January, I had a hunch that it would occur. When I first read about the virus and observed how American was handling it, I understood that our response would be inadequate. I took a number of actions based on this forecast, and since I had a good understanding of people's motivations, I was able to grow my net worth by 50% in a short period of time. The query is still open. How can you better understand how others behave? Well, first and foremost, you need to read psychology books such as Robert Greene's The Laws of Human Nature, which deconstructs everything in great depth. You can gain insight into what people have done throughout history by reading selected history books like Sapiens by Yuval Harari. And finally, you can get knowledge from experience by participating in as many human encounters as you can, which will help you get to know their patterns over time. Of course, it makes sense to hold off until the pandemic is finished prior to performing this. You must study the second subject, which is current events. Now, a lot of folks who worked in the self improvement industry will advise you to avoid the news as much as you can because it will infuse your life with too much negativity. But I believe that you should stay current with current affairs because they fundamentally set the game's characters. Let me clarify that before the pandemic a year ago, we were essentially playing a completely different game. The right moves in this world are very different from what we are thought to be the appropriate ones back then. Back then, starting a modest company with a physical location and anticipating reasonable success was still possible. While in the modern era, everyone is aware that such a task is virtually impossible. If you had chosen to launch a physical presence for your business in January without being aware of the current events or learning about the pandemic until it had already reached your neighborhood, you would have been in a terrible situation. However, if you have read about the virus in January, as I did, you would have understood that the game was about to alter and that you should postpone making any significant choices until you saw how it plays out. The world is continuously changing, thus, it is folly to ignore the news. It could literally be your worst decision to be caught in the wrong place at the wrong time because you are unaware of these developments. Imagine being trapped in a nation as its governance disintegrates. You won't even have time to worry about self improvement because you'll have to worry about living, as we are currently witnessing in many locations throughout the world. Now, part of what people say about the news is true. It may undoubtedly bring a lot of negativity into your life if you read it for an extended period of time. For this reason, I advise you to only refresh yourself once a week or maybe once every 2 weeks. Make sure to perform it later in the day after you've finished all of your work if you are particularly sensitive, or if, like me, you don't mind doing it every day to avoid interfering with your focus. The last thing you need to understand is the laws of nature. This is essentially a comprehension of how physics, biology, technology, and other aspects of nature operate. You should research this because it has been demonstrated that it is true and will remain so, regardless of the situation. Because of gravity, we can anticipate that an apple will drop when you drop it. These days, we can anticipate that a virus will spread more quickly due to worldwide flight travel. In cities with heavy air pollution, more people are likely to experience health issues. These are merely facts concerning the current state of the globe. How does this relate to choosing the proper course of action in life? On the basis of what I've learned about the climate, I'll offer you an example. I believe sea levels will rise far more quickly than most people anticipate as a result of global warming. And if I intended to use real estate investments to increase my fortune, and if I doubled down and started buying property in places like New York City or the southern part of Florida, I would be completely screwed because there is a good likelihood that my properties will flood in a few years and I'll lose a ton of money. Knowing this, I can make a more likely decision to invest in real estate in locations that are less likely to be impacted by climate change. Since the majority of us are not scientists, it might be challenging to study the rules of nature. The best alternative is to read content written by experts in particular fields. It's also vital to keep in mind that both sides have their supporters. Although the majority of scientists do, there are still some who do not. In these situations, it's important to hear both sides of the argument and determine who supports their assertions with facts rather than emotion. Usually, the party with greater proof is correct. Even though fabrications of the truth occasionally occur, as a result, you will need to conduct some research. For the example of the increasing sea level, you can also check to verify if what they're claiming is accurate. You can easily verify whether or not climate change is occurring by looking up the quantity of ice in the Arctic. When you do, you'll discover that it is at record lows this year. For you to improve your chances of making the proper decisions in the game of life, make sure to thoroughly understand human nature, current affairs, and the laws of nature. If you are able to do this, you will be able to experience greater satisfaction in life and prevent needless pain and suffering. As we all want to win the game of life, here's one of the millennial ways you can try to work on and win that allows you to make profitable money online right from the comfort of your own home. And as a matter of fact, you can bring it with you anywhere you go. If that interests you, make sure to click the first link down below to find out. Thank you guys so much for watching Boss Advisory, and if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up, and hit that bell so you get notified on every new incredible content we make for you. Have a wonderful day and see you on the next one.